Guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today, Jungle Mandarin is back with a Nilah jungle video. I don't know why I have Snowball here, but let's fix the problem. So yeah, we're back in the jungle despite not exactly enjoying this role. I landed up in the jungle and basically, I've seen a couple of people play Nilah jungle on my team and against me, mostly against me actually, and I personally never really felt that Nilah jungle was very good, and even after playing Nilah jungle, I still don't think she's very good, but you know, I still think that if you are an ADC and you get put in the jungle like what happened to me and you play Nilah, Nilah is a very viable jungler. So her clear is alright, her ganks are okay, and basically it's just a kind of a champion that's not really made for the jungle but is a suitable jungler anyway. So champions like Jace or Riven, technically those champions are not made for the jungle, but they can jungle like if you're autofilled from top or something like that. And Nilah kind of is in the same vein, able to jungle if you are autofilled from the ADC position. Of course, you have Twitch, who we covered 2 days ago, and is definitely a better jungle than Nilah, of course. But I of course wanted to try Nilah out, especially since I've been spamming Nilah so much, especially at the period of time when she was released. But anyways, let's jump straight into talking about her loadout. Now, honestly, there's not too much to talk about because basically the explanation for the loadout is exactly the same as what I covered in my Nilah updated complete guide, the one titled like you're playing Nilah wrong. That video, if you haven't watched that one, of course, be sure to of course check it out. And speaking of checking things out, also remember to check out Nilah's basic guide to of course take a look at her skills, leveling order, tips and tricks, as well as combos. Nilah's combos especially important for playing Nilah well, and for those I will of course leave the video up in the cards above for you guys to of course refer to. But talking about the loadout, first item is going to be Shield Bow, mainly because you get pretty good stats off of it, a little bit of attack speed, attack damage, but of course you get the physical vamp together with the lifeline shield, which is what you're mainly after. Then I like to go into Berserker's Proto Belt, so brushing the boots of Berserker Greaves for the attack speed. Now Nilah doesn't necessarily need the attack speed, I find that playing her with the extra 30% attack speed just feels so much better because her attacks feel so much more smoothly, particularly in the early to mid game before the attack speed she gets from her Q scales up. And the Proto Belt is needed to engage with the ultimate, which you will definitely see a couple of times later. Then I like to go defensive, so I like to go for Bloodthirster as my second item to get the huge amount of physical vamp together with the Bloodstorm passive. Also gives me a lot of AD and a little bit of crit. And then, of course, I get the IE to get a big boost in terms of my crit damage, as well as, of course, giving me a lot of AD as well. And then I like to take the LDR, of course, to get myself to 100% crit and give myself the armor penetration as well. Now, Nilah almost always wants the LDR and doesn't want the Mole Reminder for a couple of reasons. Firstly, when you reach 100% crit, of course, Nilah scales off of crit on her Q, and a lot of things scale off crit, like your armor penetration and your lifesteal on your Q, that sort of thing. So you want to get 100% crit as fast as possible. Number two, if you go for Mole Reminder instead over here, then you have to get another crit item to get to 100% crit. And this is basically going to lead to you having to go Slurry Charge Blade, because there really isn't exactly a better item, maybe Essence Reaver, but both of those items are kind of bad on Nilah, because Slurry Charge Blade doesn't give you any AD. Essence Reaver is not exactly a Nilah, like kind of item Nilah wants, because she's not really a caster focused champion, so both of which are bad. And then your last option is to just not go for a fourth crit item and stay at 75% crit, which is also horrible because, as I said, Nilah scales with crit, and if you don't go for a fourth crit item, you're going to suffer because you don't get the scaling. So, for your last item, you are going to choose between the options that I gave you in that video. The 4 options: you have GA for the revive as well as armor and AD. You have Twin Guard for dual resistances as well as becoming very tanky. You have Death's Dance against a very heavy AD team. Also gives you, of course, a heal on reset. And you also have Spirit Visage which against a heavy AP team. Which of course is going to give you the increased healing and shielding as well, which is very good for Nilah. So for the runes, Conqueror, of course, for the bonus AD as well as the Vamp. And I like to actually go for Triumph now. I've been going between Triumph and Brutal as well. But overall, I actually think that Triumph is now better because Sometimes you find yourselves in fights where you have to kill multiple enemies, and when you get the kill, the reset on Triumph can be the thing that saves you and allows you to get another kill, or at least allows you to get more damage before you die. So I think Triumph is actually really good. Coup de grace, of course, to kill those low HP targets. You can also, of course, go for Giant Slayer against tanky teams, and Bloodline all the time for the Omni-Vamp. Now, for the minor rune, you have two options. The first option is the one I chose to take, Overgrowth. It's basically the most OP rune for junglers, because whenever you kill a monster, you are gonna get 3 max health permanently, which seems like nothing, but when you count the fact that monsters, every monster counts as a monster. So the Krugs don't count as one monster, they count as like 4 monsters. The Raptors count as 4 monsters as well. And plus the buff, that's 9 on like the red side. And on the blue side, you have like 3 more wolves, another blue buff, and another Grom. That's 14 stacks if you full clear, and if you get Skull, that's even more additional stacks. So you can stack this up really quickly. So more or less, when you clear your jungle twice, you're already almost going to be at 30 stacks, and you're going to almost get that 3.5% max health increase. So just 2 full clears plus change is going to get you that ton of extra health, and just getting extra health and becoming like tanky is just going to be great. Like think about like 3 per stack, and you get like 30 stacks. This extra 90 health plus extra 3.5% for your total health, which is you know, a lot of extra health, is going to make you a lot more tanky. But your more aggressive option is going to be Sudden Impact. So Sudden Impact, of course, Nilah has 2 dashes to proc Sudden Impact. It's going to give you 13 armor and magic penetration. Of course, we're after the armor penetration. Really strong early ganks with the Sudden Impact, but it's really kind of up to you. I normally actually prefer to take Overgrowth, because I like to like full clear, get stacks, and not be too aggressive in terms of ganking in the early game. So I do like Overgrowth. And of course, spells is going to be Smite and Flash. No real discussion needed there. But without further ado, let's jump straight into the gameplay. Okay, so now we're into the gameplay. Of course, as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And of course, be sure to address them. So first things first, getting right into the action, quote unquote. So of course, we want to quickly plonk down a control ward at our blue buff, because we're starting on red side, just to ensure that we don't get invaded. And if we did, we can of course get the relevant information and do you know, do what we need to, like either gank, counter invade, or whatnot. So here, since I'm planning to full clear, I'm going to start off at the Krugs. And as you guys can see, I'm going to first kite the Krugs towards the lane, and then I'm going to start kiting it away. Of course, just using my Q whenever it's up, and just getting the AoE damage, smiting the big Krug as well. And then we're going to move on to red buff. So while you're doing red buff, you should hit level 2, and you want to E auto, and of course start getting the cooldown back onto your E. So of course, as with the normal Nilah that I play in bot lane, you want to of course max your E first. So here I'm gonna smite the red buff, and of course maxing E first. If you want to know why, of course watch the video that I put up in the cards just now, at about 2 minutes into the video or so. And here we're going to just continue on with our clear, of course just AoE, hitting all the raptors with both our Q as well as our E, kiting it toward our next camp, which is going to be the wolves. And of course, basically whenever your Q or E is up, you want to of course use them. And here, what you may not be able to see, or rather you can't see, is we're not going to put a point into our W, we're going to put a second point into our E to speed up our clear, because W doesn't really help us clear any faster. It does help us take a little bit less damage though, but we're cutting away. Here we see a fight break out in the top lane, so we're just going to rotate over and get a free kill onto the volley bear. And here with our Lux together, we can try to chase down Xayah. If Lux lands a Q, we can flash in and likely kill the Xayah because she's at half health. Unfortunately, she flashes the Lux Q, so we don't get a kill, but we do manage to get her flash. Now this is very key information, because here we know that both bot laners, being Blitzcrank and Xayah, flashed, and we know that Volley Bear also ghosted. So if we ever gank this, if we choose to gank this lane, we know that you know, it's high chance of success because they don't have flash, whereas of course I do. And in fact, my ADC Misfortune also has flash. So anyways, we're going back into the jungle and clearing out the rest of our blue side. And here, as we're clearing the blue, we can see Blitzcrank is walking down towards the river. So here, together with our Lux, we're going to try to cut him off, spank him with our whip, and going to dash onto him. We tried to ult him in, but he actually gets the movement speed to actually just dash out of our ult. Here, the Cassidy comes on the rotation, and here unfortunately Lux auto manages to get the kill, proccing the passive, so I kind of wasted my flash there, but he's not level 5 so he can escape. Here I'm just getting the auto attack onto the Blitzcrank for the assist, because I know I'm not going to be able to chase all the way in, and we end up getting 2 quick assists there. Now that we've done that, we have the support of our team and Volibear isn't near, so we're going to be able to relatively easily secure this Skull Crab now. Because of all this shenanigans, my camps on the red side have already respawned, except the red buff, of course, which does respawn later. So we're gonna back here, pick up our components for the Immortal Shield Bow, and then we can rotate over to the red side of the jungle, and we can start clearing back up again. So of course, again starting at the Crux. Now we can see that while we're doing this as a jungler, of course, we're checking our lanes to see what's going on. We can see Garen is pushing Karma in, no possible gank there. And Zed is roaming and Kassadin is pushing in and recalling, or actually he's not recalling, he's now fighting the Zed, but I'm a little bit far away. So here, we're just gonna continue farming our camps, but remember, as we're farming our camps, we're gonna be taking a look at what's going on. So here you can see Kassadin is actually pushing Zed in, and this is an indication that it's possible perhaps to either gank or you know, catch Kassadin if he tries to dive. So we are just, as we're doing the Raptors, I'm actually having my camera panned permanently on Kassadin to see if anything happens. So here, now that we've cleared our red side, I'm actually just going to back. I think I can complete the Immortal Shield Bow, do get the Immortal Shield Bow, and I'm going to head back out onto the map towards the blue side. Of course, because we did our blue buff late, because we went for that fight with the Volibear and the gank, it's gonna come up a little bit later. Here, once again, I'm farming the wolves to see if anything happens. However, Kassadin just straight up just goes in and dives onto the Zed. But honestly, with how mobile Kassadin is with his flash and with his ulti, honestly, there's not much I could have really done there unless I was already just sitting under tower and just waiting for him to go in which case he probably wouldn't go in anyway. So in the grand scheme of things, I honestly don't think very much could have been done there, just because of the nature of how slippery Kassadin is with like a dash on like a 4-second cooldown or so. So here Blitzcrank and Zyre are getting into a fight with the MF as well as our Lux. So here we're trying to go in on them. I tried to pop the W for the movement speed. Unfortunately, what instead happens is Lux gets hooked and killed under the tower. And yeah, so not too successful there. But here Dragon and Herald are up. Based on the fact that Volibear is not on Dragon, I'm going to assume that he is actually on Herald. But because my Lux died, I can't just straight up start the Dragon, because if the enemy team just collapses on me, it's pretty much going to lead to a death. And here Volibear actually secures the Herald. So this presents a problem, because now that he's got the Herald, he's putting it in mid, so I can't start the Dragon again because I have to go and defend my mid tower. And here you can see that basically we're trying to collapse on them, but I can see Xayah, so I have to walk the long way round. And basically all that happens is the Herald secures the mid lane tower and nothing much else really happens. So here, the whole enemy team has grouped for Dragon and they're doing the Dragon. But you can see my MF is backing and my Zed is just staying in mid lane farming minions. So I have no idea what's going on here, but Zed just farming, he refuses to really group with us. And MF decides to walk in alone, like 1v4 from the other side. And the enemy team already secures the Dragon, so it's kind of a disaster. I popped the Jubilant Veil to prevent Volibear from getting his auto attacks on me and blocking his stun, I believe. And here the fight somehow still continues because Zed goes in 1v4 as well. And here Kassadin now tries to go in 1v2 onto me and Lux. So here is a possible fight that we can have. Unfortunately, he flashes my ult and I'm gonna just flash to follow and just pick up the kill on him. In the meanwhile, because everyone on my team is dead, the enemy team is 3-man trying to take the top lane tower. Fortunately, it is still pretty tanky because tower plates have yet to fall. And here, pretty much we're just seeing if we can actually do anything in this situation. So here, Volibear is actually did not back and cancel his back here. Here, I actually popped my W to prevent Lux from dying to the Xayah feathers. Here, I try to go in. Unfortunately, Lux does end up dying. I try to finish the kill onto Volibear, but Volibear healing is just insane, and I don't end up finishing the kill on Volley. So, kind of a disaster overall, I would say. But it's a really, really messy game. We have a Misfortune who's kind of feeding. She's 0-4-0 at the moment. She's not doing too hot. But in terms of the rest of the map, we are losing overall as a team by 5k. We have a very fed Volibear, a very, very fed Xayah, 5-0-2 Xayah. And slowly the match is starting to look pretty bad because with a very fat Xayah and Volibear, it's going to be really, really difficult to play. Whereas on my team, me, Lux, Garen are all just, as well as Zed, we're all just kind of doing fine. No one is particularly fat. And we're up against the extremely fat members of Volibear and Xayah. As a matter of fact, Kassadin is also pretty fat when you consider the fact that even though he's 2 and 4, he has a ton of gold, probably from that mid lane tower getting destroyed. Here, once again, I'm kiting the Crux toward the Garen because Xayah and Karma might be interested in, of course, going in on the Garen, and if that happens, I'm ready to follow up. Here, I try to go in from the side on the Karma, but nothing too much happens. Karma tries to pop the W on me, tries to ult me actually, and I just pop the W and just walk away. So overall, nothing too much happens here. But on the opposite side of the map, you can see in the top lane, MF is for some reason is trying to 1v1 a Blitzcrank when she has absolutely no damage. She only has a mana mune not yet converted into a mirror mana, and at that point a longsword. So Volibear simply comes over, collects a free kill, and is on his way. So MF being a major liability is definitely a huge problem in this particular game. No one on the team is really doing that well either, including myself. To be fair, but I am farming very well. Here I'm just doing the buff inside the bush because I know Kassadin is going to be walking by. He of course does not just randomly jump into the bush, so we're able to just farm safely without any interruption. So here you can see we're just full clearing through our whole jungle again, securing the farm. And because we know MF is completely useless, she's 0, 5, and 0, we're just going to try to take the lane minions as well. Trying to just secure those minions to secure gold for ourselves, because we know that this MF is not going to carry us. She's 0, 5, and 0. How can she possibly carry us at this point? So we're just trying to secure more gold for ourselves. We're actually 1.5k gold up on the MF at this point, but of course we're still like, you know, more than 1k gold down on other champs like Xayah and Volibear as well. So here we see a mid lane kind of skirmish happening. Here I'm just hovering because I don't really want to go in. Of course, Nilah is a melee champion, so she has to go in or she has to just stay away. So it's either you go in or you just stay away. There's no in between. There's no like poking or whatnot. Because if you're close enough to poke with your Q, you're probably in danger of getting engaged on by them. So here I just basically make the decision to not go in and just stay around the area in case they go in. Speaking of which, Volibear goes straight in onto the tower. So here we're 3v1ing the Volibear, and we are but Zed actually picks up the kill onto the Volibear together with the huge shutdown that comes together with it. Unfortunately, we could not exactly secure the shutdown, which would have been, of course, preferable to have the goal on ourselves than a Zed who we don't know how good he is or is not. But here, Dragon spawning in 10 seconds. We're going to first secure the red buff and then make our way straight to the Dragon. We don't really have to recall because we're full health, full mana, and we don't have any items to buy. So here we're just going to walk straight over to the Dragon. Already Garen is kind of getting caught out, but thankfully he's really tanky, so they aren't really able to kill him. I'm going to have to dash the wall because enemy team is going to collapse on me instead. And we are stuck in a situation very similar to the previous Dragon, where my team is just all not ready to contest the Dragon, while the enemy team is just free taking the Dragon because my team just isn't ready to contest. Here I decide to go in with my ultimate, catching 3 people. Unfortunately, the Dragon has already been secured by the enemy team. I am able to get the kill onto the Karma, flash the Volibear ult, and then I'm walking back to re-engage onto the Volibear. Garen tries to ult him and eventually does secure the kill. The other side of the fight is still happening, so I'm going to be walking back to see if we can get either Kassadin or the Blitzcrank, of course smiting him for the slow, and now we're going to try to get both of them, or one of them, and the Blitzcrank flashes out, and Garen is able to secure the kill onto the Kassadin. Here Lux tanks the tower, but eventually we do manage to secure the kill on Blitzcrank, but we do end up dying for it instead of the Garen, because Garen was not the one tanking, it was actually me, which was pretty unfortunate, because I was closer to Blitzcrank when Lux died, so tower started aggroing me. So of course objective bounties are up at this point in time, so Garen is just going to take down this tower to get ourselves an objective bounty and try to get back into the game. So let's take a look at where we are at the moment. Currently we're 3, 2, and 7, not too bad. A lot of assists because in my opinion we've been getting like KS quite a decent amount by other people, particularly like Garen and Zed, even Lux a couple of times, but anyways, it's not all that bad. We're still at the most gold on our team at 9k gold, but we are still behind Volibear and Xayah, who both are incredibly fit. and not having enough kills definitely hurts us quite a bit. So here I was initially trying to go back to farming, but a fight breaks out, so I'm gonna have to rotate over to the fight. My whole team dies and I'm having to dash away again, even popping the Jubilant Veil for the extra movement speed to ensure I'm out of range for Blitzcrank's hook and Volibear running at me. Here, Lux now gets caught, but does catch the Volibear in exchange. Here Volibear's team just ditches him basically, and here we're in the 2v1 against Volibear. He is super duper tanky though, it's really hard to kill. His whole team just is still ignoring the fight, by the way, they're just pushing top lane. So here we eventually get the kill, or rather I should say Lux eventually gets the kill onto the Volibear. Once again we are not able to secure the kill, which is highly unfortunate. Lux is still pretty low and Karma seems interested in perhaps pursuing the kill onto the Lux, but nothing too much happens. They just put down a little bit of vision, but my control ward can spot that. So here, enemy team is kind of invading my jungle, so I'm trying my best to just kite the Gromp away and secure the Gromp to prevent the enemy team from, getting any meaningful counter jungle on. Turns out they were just after the vision, so they destroy the control ward. I'm just gonna sweeper and destroy their ward. Before I do the blue buff though, I see a huge wave here. I don't want to lose minions, so I'm just gonna quickly secure this huge wave and secure the goal, and then I will move into the jungle to secure my blue buff. Can see that a fight looks like it might break out like in the mid lane or whatnot. And of course, MF is just getting killed by Xayah in the bot lane. At this point, nothing too surprising. She's 1 and 9, basically a minion at this point in time. And a fight does indeed break out here toward the Baron Pit area. Zed gets a pick on Karma but dies in return here. I'm just waiting over the wall. Kassadin goes in. I'm able to get a 2-man ulti. Lux also gets a 2-man ulti. And here we're just chasing down Kassadin. We get the kill using our dash to exit, not exit, but dodge the Volibear ultimate. And here we're trying to just smack down whoever we can. On the chase for the Volibear, Xayah is the one we want because she's the most fit member. We do get the kill on Xayah, and Garen gets the kill onto the Volibear. And here we are finally in a position where we have eclipsed the Xayah and the Volibear in terms of goals. So just through good farming and securing kills here and there, despite us, our scoreline being 5-2 and 10, nothing in terms of kills compared to the 8 and 9 kills Volibear and Xayah have respectively, we still have managed to catch up. And here we're trying to see if we can get the enemy blue buff, but unfortunately it's not up. So we see people pinging for Baron here, but I don't really want to do Baron because number one, I can reset to get IE. I have like 3k gold at this point, and number two, the enemy respawn timers are good. They're gonna respawn basically in time to I think contest, because we don't do Baron fast enough with me, Lux, and Zed. So here I'm just gonna quickly secure the red buff, and here we're gonna try to prep for the next dragon. So I'm pretty strong at this point. You can see I have the most gold in the game, still farming of course to get the gold. And here I'm trying to see if Garen does need help against the Karma. You can see a fight basically just ends up breaking out here. And here I'm just once again hovering around the fight but not fully committing. Now I commit in with the ult protocol, unfortunately only onto the Blitzcrank, so it's not too big of a deal here. The fight still continues. I'm going to secure the kill onto the Blitzcrank. Lux hits a Q onto the Karma, but Karma does end up flashing away. It just becomes a pretty messy fight where both teams can't really finish off kills. And yeah, so here I'm thinking that Volibear must be on the dragon trying to solo the dragon, because I saw him running toward that direction. So here I'm just trying to rush to the dragon to see if I can 1v1 him or try to steal it, but turns out he wasn't even in the dragon pit. So here instead I'm going to start up the dragon and I'm going to try my best to rush it down. I have a decent amount of damage at this point, but you can see Volibear does manage to get into the area and is able to see the health of the dragon. So here Volibear tries to go in, but I'm able to secure it with the smite, and here I'm just dashing away just to make sure I'm safe. And we're going to evaluate the situation now that we have target stun. I'm gonna go in with the ulti. Unfortunately, I do actually get a kill here, and I almost get the Volibear as well, who lives on 1 HP. This looked like it's gonna be like a pop-off 1v9 moment, but unfortunately, after getting the first kill, we die when everyone else is stuck on 1 HP. Could have been at least a triple kill there, or maybe even a quadra if we got the first 3 kills, because we have insane lifesteal and damage at this point. But the important part is we do manage to actually secure the dragon and prevent them from getting the triple dragon win condition. That's really the most important part. By the way, our 1 in 10 MF is now not only feeding, but she's also AFK. Honestly, whether she's feeding or AFK, it's kind of no difference at this point, just based on how bad she has been performing this match. So anyways, here you can see huge waves in both bot lane and mid lane just pushing in from the enemy team. Enemy team is obviously doing Baron at this point in time. Lux here checks the Baron. Baron obviously gets taken down by the enemy team before we can really do anything. Now here, instead of going mid to get farm, for some reason Garen goes the same lane as me and tries to compete with me for farm when really it wasn't. It was needless to compete for farm. Like, he just needed to go one lane, I go the other lane, and we can both get the farm. But here instead, he ends up going to the same lane as me, and we have to fight for the farm, which really does not make sense. Anyways, regardless, Elder Dragon is coming up in 15 seconds or so. I'm quickly trying to secure this red buff, smiting, because the smite will refresh for the Elder Dragon. And I'm gonna quickly make my way to the Elder Dragon area as it is about to spawn. So here, obviously, at this point, both teams are relatively even in gold, like 1.5k gold separates the two teams. So I know that this is a fight that I have to carry, and I have to win either win this fight or secure the Elder Dragon for my team. I'm in a position to do both because I'm the most fed member on my team, and I'm also the jungler. So it's kind of my job to win my team this fight or secure the dragon, either which way to kind of get the win for my team. Here, I spot an opportunity to go in for another huge ult. You can see I'm just basically blasting everyone, just auto-attacking with my lifesteal. I get exhausted, but I'm still going in, I'm still smacking. I smite the dragon for the health, and then I now get pretty much all the kills, except Kassadin. Kassadin is still trying to go for more kills. I get a triple kill eventually. Actually, this could have been a Penta if I did get all the last hits. But either way, I secured the Elder Dragon, and at this point with the whole team dead, Elder or no Elder, doesn't really matter. You can just march down mid lane to secure the victory, and really, you can see, honestly, you can see not just how strong Nilah jungle is, but how strong Nilah is as a champion. There I was like tanking multiple people, of course negating a lot of damage with the W, but just life stealing and just, you know, just carrying my team in terms of both damage and as well as, you know, in some sense just taking the damage as well. But regardless, I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye